Alexander the Great. One of the greatest and most intelligent leaders in history, Alexander was the greatest conqueror of the ancient world. He became a king at the age of 20 and established a vast empire before turning 30. His name, Alexander the Great. At the age of 13, Alexander received education from Aristotle, which lasted 3 years. This education was based on the ideals of the Hellenistic era, focusing on raising wise and virtuous individuals, and included disciplines such as politics, philosophy, ethics, and strategy. Even after this formal education ended, Aristotle continued to mentor Alexander throughout his life. Alexander's father, King Philip II of Macedon, significantly strengthened Macedonia's military power and influence. Through innovative military strategies, tactics, and organizational skills, Philip made Macedonia a powerful state. The army that Philip built gave Alexander a major advantage and laid the foundation for his military career. When he took command of this strong army, Alexander achieved great victories. He was bold, determined, and at times hot-tempered. In fact, his fiery temperament led him to tame and bond with one of the wildest horses in the world, which later became his companion in both life and conquests. Alexander's horse, Bucephalus, is regarded as one of the most famous horses in history. Their first meeting is symbolic of Alexander's leadership and courage. When the young Alexander saw Bucephalus's aggressive outbursts, he managed to calm him and gain his trust. This bond came to signify his bravery and leadership. Later, when Bucephalus was captured, Alexander even waged war against the Mardians to reclaim him. Before and after becoming king, Alexander was frequently involved in suppressing rebellions. One of these uprisings, the Revolt of the Medes, occurred in 340 BCE, when Alexander was only 16 years old, with his father Philip besieging Byzantium. At the time, Alexander showcased his military leadership for the first time by handling the rebellion in Macedonia's northeastern frontier. Following the death of his father, Philip II, in 336 BCE, Alexander ascended the Macedonian throne. He first solidified his rule by defeating the Persian Empire in 334 BCE and consolidated Macedonian dominance by subduing rebellions in the southern Greek city-states. He also led campaigns against city-states in the north. His major challenges, however, came during his march into India, particularly during the Battle of the Hydaspes. Alexander fought numerous battles, shed immense blood, and achieved countless victories. In 331 BCE, after the conquest of Gaza, Alexander easily captured Egypt. The Egyptian people, viewing him as a liberator from Persian rule, welcomed him without resistance. The Battle of Issus in 333 BCE was a decisive conflict between Alexander and Darius III of Persia. This battle ended with Alexander's decisive victory and represented a significant clash between Eastern and Western civilizations. Darius fled after the battle, leaving his family in Alexander's hands. The Battle of the Granicus, fought in May 334 BCE, marked the first major clash between Alexander's forces and the Persian Empire. During his Indian campaign, 326 BCE, Alexander's military strength and intelligence shone when his army faced war elephants for the first time on the Indian subcontinent. His strategies and courage set him apart. Alexander was not only a conqueror who besieged cities, but also a passionate, loyal, and devoted lover. He highly valued friendships and camaraderie. In the summer of 328 BCE, while suppressing a rebellion in the satrapy of Bactria, Alexander encountered a group of prisoners. Among them was Roxana, whom he fell in love with at first sight. Roxana was often regarded as one of the most beautiful women ever seen, even more beautiful than the wife of the defeated King Darius. At the age of 17, Roxana became first a captive and then Alexander's wife. She accompanied him until the day he died, enduring scorching deserts and monsoon rains, carving her own space in a world dominated by warriors. Roxana symbolized the East, embodying the splendor of silk, magnificent palaces, and the harshness of an unforgiving geography. As a barbarian queen, she became a symbol of the merging of Eastern and Western worlds, the beginning of a new era. From this point forward, everything changed. The East brought its brilliance to the West, while the West imposed its order on the East. Alexander's dream was to shrink the world's borders. Though thousands died and a great deal of blood was spilled, it opened the door to brand new possibilities for humanity. Over the years, the illuminated image of Roxana transformed into a mythical figure, a barbarian queen who experienced one of the world's greatest loves. The friendship between Alexander and his closest confidant, Hephaestion, was a deeply emotional and profound bond, significant throughout Alexander's life. Toward the end of his life, Alexander began preparing for a campaign into Rome. In the evenings, however, he hosted lavish banquets with excessive drinking. During one of these gatherings at the home of his friend Medius of Thessaly, he felt sudden chest pain and returned to his quarters. His condition worsened with a high fever and unbearable pain. Eventually, he lost the ability to speak. After collapsing into despair, Alexander was taken to his palace. When his generals visited him in his last moments, he recognized them but could no longer speak to them. On the 10th day of June 323 BCE, Alexander the Great passed away. His sudden death created chaos and uncertainty among his people and army. Alexander left no heir, leading to the fragmentation of his empire. Even today, Alexander the Great remains one of the most beloved and respected emperors in the world. He played a pivotal role in shaping the course of history and transforming civilizations.